Delighted to welcome Terry Cargus with us this afternoon. Terry is the Executive Director of the Petersen Museum, and we're here to talk about a special award from the Petersen in the Concours Virtual in aid of UNICEF and presented by Haggerty. The award that the Petersen Museum is an Inspiration in Motoring Award for the most fascinating vehicle. But before we get on to that, I'd like to ask Terry a couple of questions. Obviously, the Petersen Museum, known throughout the world as one of the most innovative and one of the most celebrated automotive museums on the globe. And congratulations on that. It's such an amazing place to visit. And if anyone hasn't visited it, you really ought to be going. But it must be very difficult. Lockdown, museum, how have you coped and what have you done differently in the last 3 or 4 months?
Thank you, Jeff. And first I want to say what a pleasure it is to be with you in the Concours and the week-long program that you guys have developed. We actually admire Magneto and all of the work that you do as one of the premier publications of motoring anywhere in the world, and really as a standard bearer for high quality. So again, it's our pleasure to be with you, and really appreciate being asked to participate. You know, we've been closed like everybody else. We were able to open for a very short time, maybe a week and a half during the closure. We closed March 15th, and then a couple of weeks ago, the governor said we could open up again. We were actually only one of 2 museums that were able to get open after that announcement. Fortunately for us, Elon Musk gave us the Cybertruck for the public debut, and it was a fantastic success in terms of generating publicity and excitement about coming to see it and seeing the museum. But it was short term. It was about a week and a half. But we have been working now on redoing our exhibit schedule, taking a look at new budgets because of the lower attendance that we anticipate, because of the social distancing, allowing fewer people inside. But we're doing an enormous effort behind digital and digital content. We've actually expanded our education offerings digitally to schools. Last year we had entertained 25,000 school children through the museum, and we anticipate actually meeting with bigger numbers or growing the numbers because of the digital capability. We'll actually go outside of the Los Angeles market here, but for the most part, we're looking ahead. We're planning now on opening a supercar, an exhibit called From Supercars to Hypercars. So it's everything from a 1912, what is it, a Miller? Anyway, it's up through we just had a new McLaren, or not a new McLaren, but a McLaren F1 delivered as a part of the exhibit. And I've got to share with you, I remember when Gordon Murray introduced the car, it was $800,000. This car came in insured for $25 million. So there's still some values going up. And the fellow that gave us the car or loaned us the car was so proud to have it here. He shipped it in himself and is carrying the insurance. But I mean, extraordinary. Anyway, we're busy at work redoing education. Actually, we're working on looking ahead at how do we become a virtual museum, as well as having the bricks and mortar and the exhibits, on hand every day for folks when we do open. We're hoping that we'll be able to open in September. If not, we can't see that we would stay closed, or that all the businesses in California would stay closed much beyond October 1st. Certainly hope that's not the case, but that's really, we're busy. We're staying busy.
Yeah, and we were talking just before we came on air that you're massively expanding your digital operation, and you're seeing some nearly half or over half of your visitors online now are overseas. So that must be very encouraging for you.
It's a real reward, and it's based on a plan that we put in place actually, ironically, 3 weeks before the shutdown, we spoke with the board of directors and said that we wanted to create a significant digital campaign. They approved it, and 2 days after the shutdown, we had already created live streaming of our vault tours. And one of the goals of the digital campaign was to reach or generate attendance from beyond Los Angeles. 80% of our attendance comes from within a 40-mile radius, and that's LA County. What we're finding now is that 50% of our audience digitally is outside of the country. So we're getting huge numbers, and yet we've got some creative folks doing some wonderful things. There are garage tours that we're putting up that you would never see these private collections, and we have those that coming into Car Week almost daily now, but some very significant collections being personally guided by the owners. In fact, one of my proudest that's about to happen is Miles Collier doing a personal tour of his collection, and I can't imagine many people have seen it, but I think from what I understand, it's 100 of the best cars in the world. I know he's got the Eagle, the F1 Eagle that won Spa in '67. So that alone, it does it for me.
No, it's amazing, and I think what we've found, and many people have found, is actually lockdown. It challenges to think of new ways to bring visitors in. It accelerates your thinking, and we've done a small part in putting together our virtual concours. But looking forward to next week, and after a little sleep perhaps on Sunday evening, we're very much looking forward to your own car week. I mean, you've got a whole car week. You've got auctions, you've got Concours, you've got car shows, you've got garage tours. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's some undertaking, and we're really looking forward to it.
It's interesting that where we are with the car week is enjoying it. It's something that we're all looking to participate in, and it's almost because we have to, or there's an opportunity there that wasn't there before. All of the car companies and the event promoters and the vendors and everybody was all set to go up to Car Week in Monterey, and now it's shut down. Now what do you do to stay relevant and to reach an audience? And we found some willing participants. We have 41 different partners now engaged in promoting the Car Week with us, but we're going from a number of terrific private garage tours given by the owners to 7 different car reveals by major companies, including Ford, the Gordon Murray T50, BMW. We have, I think it's 4 auction houses that'll be doing auctions with us. Bring a Trailer, Bonhams, RM, and I don't think. Well, I won't say anything else about the other, but the number of events. We have Laguna Seca is giving us footage. Even Sonoma Speed Festival is giving us footage. Goodwood as a whole series, an hour long of racing that they're providing to us. I think that the companies that wanted to get involved saw an opportunity, and virtually everyone up there, but the Concours on Sunday chose to participate with us. They had other plans that they were going to create, and then I guess because of the government rules, they weren't able to pursue that. But great, it's a great weekend for us, or a great week for us, starting with Gordon McCall's Monterey Jet Center event as usual, but all week long.
Yeah, but it always kicks off with Gordon McCall's Jet Center party, doesn't it? So no, we're really looking forward to it, and we can't be in California, which we would normally be in next week. So this is the next best thing for us. So we're very much looking forward to it.
I'll share with you a personal story. 8 years ago, next week is when I started here at the museum, and I was supposed to come in on Monday, start Monday. I was so excited. I came in Saturday, Sunday, worked Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, my wife and I drove up to Monterey, and Sunday, I'm sitting in the Henry Ford Ferrari Barchetta, the 52 Barchetta, getting a trophy on the stand at Pebble, and I'm thinking, this is a pretty good way to start this.
Yeah, completely. Anyway, we're here really to talk about the Inspiration in Motoring Award, and that's for the most fascinating vehicle. I'm going to hand over to David. I know David put together with you guys a short list, but we really want to know who the winner is going to be. So David, over to you to have a chat.
Okay, so yeah, there were some really interesting cars we identified with you, weren't there? But well, I know where your heart is, and I think I know what you're going to say when I ask you what your choice is for the special Petersen Award. So over to you, Terry.
Well, for me, it's something that I've studied, and I've been a big fan of Ferdinand Piëch, or depending on who you're talking to, Piëch, as one of the automotive geniuses of the last several decades. And the fact that he bet the barn to create the 917 because of a rules situation that he saw on the engine, and that he almost bankrupted the company. And the car, also that the car when it was created was, if you talk to some of the drivers, virtually impossible to drive. You know, in fact, we were in one of the interviews with one of the drivers was talking about that on the Mulsanne, the car, he couldn't keep the car straight. So if cars saw them coming in the mirror, they would move over. They'd move over to let them pass. But that the car itself and the paint job that they did on it, the artwork that they did on it, I think is brilliant, beyond, you know, and talk about inspiration, and that the engine design and what they did and the time that they did it within, to me, said everything about this is something that was really quite magic, and has a history now that it's still considered one of the most beautiful cars ever done. So design-wise, engineering-wise, and then add the artwork to it, I think it said it all to me.
So you've given a load of clues, but you haven't said what it actually is.
The 917 hippie car.
And yeah, what a machine. Obviously 1970 Le Mans, by which time they'd had a year, the 1969 Le Mans, the 917s were really, really wayward. They were very difficult. By the time you got to 1970, you got a mix of short tail cars and long tail cars. The hippie car was one of the long tails, which
Right.
means it's faster, but they weren't quite as sure about the aerodynamics. But as Terry says, it was they were still quite wayward and very hard to drive. So yeah, Terry, what's you know, you said you've always admired this car. Have you been up close with it?
Not the hippie car, but a number of 917s here that we've exhibited. The most recent was a 917 that Bruce Canepa owns, the number 2 car, and you know, I've seen them at tracks, but I mean, it's just, to me, it's something that, like at Rennsport, looking at and watching what was going on there, I can't get enough. And you know, that one of the best racing movies and maybe one of the worst or most boring and for content was McQueen's movie, but still showing that car at speed, and they got the sound right, the exhaust note was perfect. To me, it was everything.
Yeah, I mean, I know everyone says the Le Mans movie is terrible in plot, but actually, do any of us care? Because you do get to see 917s on
Right.
the track.
I guess I should qualify and say that this had nothing to do with it, but Wolfgang Porsche is an honorary board member with us. But I was in love with the car long before we met Wolfgang.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, that's fantastic, Terry. Thank you. I think that's the kind of perfect choice for the Petersen. Especially, we can actually see the outside of the Petersen on the screen, and it kind of matches the psychedelic decoration on the 917, doesn't it? Perfect.
We haven't been given an inspiration award for the exterior, but we probably should have. The inspiration for that came from an architect in New York, and within, I think, 3 weeks, they had seen the exterior of the old building, came back with a presentation that you would have paid $250,000 for at no cost, said, here's what you have to do. And we looked at it and said, absolutely, that's it. Let's go. And $95 million, here we are.
Amazing.
But that's why the Petersen is at the forefront of automotive museums around the world. I mean, you're prepared to redefine what a museum looks like, redefine what you curate within the museum, and you're always looking forward. And for us, I mean, that's fantastic to see. So thank you very much for your time, Terry. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. And just to confirm then, the Inspiration in Motoring Award for the most fascinating vehicle within the Concours goes to the 1970 Porsche 917 hippie car. Well, thank you very much, Terry, for your considerations. I think it's an excellent award to be given. And just to confirm then, the Inspiration in Motoring Award for the most fascinating vehicle goes to the 1970 Porsche 917 hippie car, which is owned by the Simeone Foundation Automotive Museum. Thank you very much.